Hey guys, I was talking with someone today and they suggested that maybe I could talk about the things I spoke on this weekend and kind of give some further insight in each of the areas I drew attention to. If you missed the message this weekend, it was called The Point Man. And I think it was worth listening to. Of course, I always preach what I think is important. So I think it's important right now, though, that the men of not just New Life Church, but the church globally, that we begin to really focus on becoming the people that God created us to be and to lead our families the way that we need to. Um, there's so much out there that's against the church and against our families, just at a basic level. So I really felt like God wanted us to bring this message and to talk about what it means to really be the point man in your family, to be the leader, the one who leads from the front, always. And if you don't know what a point man is in a military, in a ranger line, there's one guy in the front of the line, and he's called the point man. And he is one who's guided by the mission. He sets the direction, and he's about the protection of not just himself, but the entire group. And so, with that said, we're going to talk about the first part of this today, and it's really going to focus on direction. And what I said on Sunday was that the point man has to establish a direction. And for us as godly people, for men of God in your homes and in your house as the leader of your family, that means that you have to be an example of what it looks like to live this Jesus life, what it means to live like a Christian. And we tell them where to go, right, and how to get there. And we see this in Abraham, that this is the responsibility God has for us. Genesis 18:19 says, "For I have chosen him," meaning Abraham, "that he might command his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing righteousness and justice, so that the Lord may bring Abraham what he has promised him." And I think it's really important that we understand that it's by what Abraham did that God was able to provide and fulfill the promises that God has for him. So many times we want God to fulfill his promises, but we're not doing anything to bring that to pass. And so it's important how we live to bring God's promises fully into our lives. And so what does it look like to live this Jesus life? Well, things that you can do to bring that to pass is like basically number one, how do you live your life day to day? And that's just basic stuff. Like, how do you run your business? How do you treat people? How do you treat the server at the restaurant that you go to eat at? Do you tip them well? Because honestly, that's an important indicator of how you treat people. If that's her only source of income or his only source of income, and he's getting paid minimum wage and he's 25 years old, he needs to be better than $7.50 an hour or whatever the rate would be for those who get tips. It's low. And so if you don't tip, that's an indication you don't treat people very well and you're not living the Jesus life. Jesus would never do that. Jesus would make sure that people are paid the wage that they've earned. And so if you get good service, that should show up on your tip. But that's just one area. We need to look at how we live our lives globally. Does our life look like how Jesus would live it? And if it doesn't, then we need to make the alterations in how we act, because we are the ones, again, you're setting the direction for your family. And if you're not setting the direction properly, they will be misguided by you. This is your job, Dad. This is your job, man of God. You've got to be the one who creates the direction and allows your children to see what it looks like to live a life that Jesus is reflected in. So that's the first thing I would say, and I think I'll leave that there, let you guys chew on that for a while. Get back to you later this week. All right, God bless you today.